I sit here shrouded in darkness. Such is the story of my life. My only friend, a pumpkin. So I waited to make this video until the morning so I can have a more logical stance on it. But I should have actually just done it when the game ended because now it's just a lot worse. As we all know, the smartest thing a man can do is let sports decide your mental health, and that's what I'm going to do today. And that's what I've done the last 5 years following the men's national team. I'm not going to pretend that I've always followed this team as much as I have now. I've always been a huge basketball nerd. And for reference, this is how the basketball side is going for me right now. But as we all know, inside your head, the bad always outweighs the good by a lot. I need to upload that video now. I probably will, like, tomorrow. Let me give you a little, like, just... I need to rant to get my headspace out. Not that anyone's gonna watch this or take my opinion seriously, but I have to just get it out in words because that usually helps me a little bit. For those who don't know, soccer in this country is not really cared about. And I say that like nobody cares about it, but yeah, no, millions of people care about it, but that's nothing compared to the other four sports, major sports in this country. And it's seen as a women's sport, which the women are great. I love watching the women actually be like a top 2, top 3 country in the world. But because the way our society is, that doesn't really matter because, you know, for some reason, men's sports are just so much more important, right? So the main focus is this team. This team without the 4 stars on top of the crest. This is the only team that matters when it comes to the public perception of the sport in the country. And we suck at it. Just compared to the other stuff, we're the best basketball nation, and we're going to prove that at the Olympics this year. We're the best American football nation, obviously. We're the best, we're probably not the best hockey nation. We lost in the World Baseball Classic, but that makes us the 2nd best team. Shout out to Japan. Love the teams. I can't, oh my God. I thought I fell asleep thinking that I could like look at this objectively, but I just saw more and more Twitter and Instagram posts, and I can't think any type of way besides what's up in here, no, in here, because it's not really taken seriously. Like, we always have the big 4, right? Even though soccer has overtaken hockey in popularity in this country. At least that's what the metrics say. For people under like 35, it's maybe the 2nd behind basketball. So I'm basically like the stereotypical 20-year-old American, right? Like, I love basketball and soccer. I will be a basketball coach one day. In basketball, there's no worry about, you know, relevancy. The only weird thing about it is there's a weird xenophobia in the basketball media. Like, whenever, like, the NBA is expanding to a global league, and you can see that with the new prospects coming in. It's probably only like 70% American, which would be unheard of 30 years ago. And, you know, it's becoming more global, and more, you know, non-American players are becoming the best players in the world. And it's more like 50-50 with the United States and everyone else. And for some reason, this is like a problem with people. They won't say it, obviously, because they'll get fired. But in the back of their minds, they have an issue with it. So it's clear that, you know, there is a need, a want for these people, for the Americans to be on top, which, you know, it's only for the things that they care about, I guess. So we need to get people to care about soccer in this country. And you can't do that by getting grouped in the Copa America with the easiest group by far. Let me get a rundown of this group real quick. We had Uruguay, United States, Panama, and Bolivia. Uruguay is a better team than us. We're higher in the FIFA rankings, but that's only because we beat up on Mexico in every, you know, tournament. We're better than Mexico. We're the best team in CONCACAF. That inflates our rankings a little bit, but we're probably like more the 20th best team in the world. Uruguay might be the 10th best team in the world. So the challenge would be getting the #1 spot in the group because we're going against Panama, who is probably the 5th best team in CONCACAF. And whenever we're fully healthy, we have not lose them by less than, no, sorry. We always beat them by 3 more goals, basically every time. And then Bolivia is the worst team in the tournament, unquestionably. So, we go into the Bolivia game, and there was never a worry about losing. But we wanted to win by at least 4 goals. That was the goal there, is to win by a lot, because goal difference might stab us in the back if we want to, win the group. It was kind of a long shot that we win the group anyway, but if we were going to do it, we were assuming that both us and Uruguay win the first 2 games, and then, if there's a draw between us, then the higher goal difference goes on to be first. And we win that game 2-0. Pretty convincingly get the first 2 goals in the first half, but then let's introduce our favorite character in this story. I probably titled the video around it. It's Greg Berhalter. He makes more defensive adjustments for some reason. I don't think there was ever a worry that we were going to lose the game and we should play more defensive. But we played at the back, and our most technical, creative player, Gio Reyna, he's 20 years old, by the way, is playing as like an 8 when he should be at least a 10. Honestly, I think he could play on the wing, but people are telling me that he's not very good at the wing. So this guy, Greg Berhalter, in my opinion, from what I've seen, great human being, has made mistakes in the past and done more than enough to move on from them in a healthy way and redeem himself morally. This guy cannot coach a middle school, like, JV soccer team. I genuinely think that he would have a equal playing field among all these middle school coaches, and he would not win that middle school league. This guy is probably the most predictable person of all time, and if there is one, I could not think of it. It's really bad when, we have, if you guys know a technical manager TV, I love that guy, Filippo. He's, predicting the lineups. I'm predicting him with him as a watcher, not like laughing with him or anything. But he's like saying, oh no, what I would do is, what Greg's probably going to do. And he's like, he like constantly has to just clarify. It's like, guys, I would not do this, just so we know. I mean, that's just a weird feeling, like why we have to settle with this, which is why I think that he is blackmailing the Federation in some way, because I just don't understand why he would still be the coach. He actively makes our team worse tactically. There's probably something going behind the scenes where he's a great locker room guy. But I thought, like, the bare minimum is to get out of this group, right? And so in the quarterfinals, if we go against Colombia or Brazil and we don't make it close against Brazil, or Colombia beats us, then that is still not a successful, like, you would not be happy with that in Copa. Getting out of the group is not a success. That's a bare minimum. The bare minimum. And starting off Bolivia, that was not a great, it was a convincing win, but it wasn't great. And we go into Panama. We knew this was a trap game, but still, better team on paper. And Tim Weah makes a terrible mistake, right? He needs to be, he was suspended 2 games, so even in the quarterfinal, he wouldn't play. I'm sure that'll be dealt with. But how do you not prepare? Playing down a man. You have no plan. I'm convinced this guy doesn't have a plan going into the game, 11v11. So you damn well know that he isn't playing, the same thing happened with Serginho Dest against Trinidad. And first of all, this whole locker room thing with Greg, I know 2 times is a coincidence, right? But at the end, if it would happen a third time, you have to start questioning his locker room presence. Like this guy does not discipline his players at all. But he had no plan. He did the same exact thing he did against Bolivia game, which did not work. He did the exact same thing against a better team, and we lost the game. So now we need to either beat Uruguay or hope that Bolivia beats Panama. It's already unacceptable that we had to be in that position. And the thing is, I wouldn't put it, obviously wouldn't put it all on Berhalter, but we actually outplayed Uruguay for about 70 minutes in that game. And then there was a terrible call. Absolutely awful call. I don't think I've ever seen a more blatant offsides that VAR checked and still called it on. And you know, I didn't go into that game expecting a win against Uruguay. And that's what we needed because Panama won the game. So I didn't go into that game, or I didn't come out of that game really that upset that we lost, because I went into the game expecting not a win-win, but like a win and a win and a half, you know? Because obviously we want to go far in this tournament. 2 out of the last 3 Copa Americas, we actually reached the semifinal. So this is a disappointment, obviously. But at least if we get grouped in this Copa, Greg is going to be fired, as he should. 100%, no doubt. And if he isn't fired, it's because he's going to be resigned today. And I'm recording this today and he's not resigned, which is fine. I'm sure he's going to be fired. Except, no. Multiple sources are coming out and telling me, yeah, no, me specifically, yeah. Like, I'm just reading on Twitter and everything, saying that they're most likely not going to fire Greg. We need to. So here's what I was talking about at the beginning. It's a dilemma, because we need to boycott this team for the time being. I feel it, but that's not. If we start boycotting our national team, which it's already like a really hard thing to decide to do that, but I feel like in a vacuum that would be the right thing to do. The problem is that we would go from like filling like NFL stadiums halfway when we play to like having like 10,000 people there. And that's a really bad look. A really, really bad look. Because people who like see it on ESPN, they're not gonna know that, oh, we're boycotting the game. They're gonna just say, wow, it's crazy, nobody cares about this. And now, if he's, still a coach, we're gonna be going into 2026 in the most important tournament in our national team's history. It's a home World Cup with the most talent we've ever had, probably. We don't know, because our coach doesn't make anything out of them. And now we have no inspiration. Even the shills, like Alexi Lalas and Taylor Twellman, even they were saying, at least questioning, that Berhalter should still be the coach anymore. And you're going to keep him. You're going to keep him. You had an out. He could be blackmailing you, and you still have like a solid reason. It's because the media, even the media who defended him in the most blatant, like just terrible coaching decisions, it's like, oh, well, maybe it's not Greg's fault. Now they are saying it's Greg's fault. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to use the Tim Weah red card, and they're going to use the terrible officiating as excuses and say, oh, it wasn't Greg's fault. Because honestly, the Uruguay game, we played great, and it wasn't Greg's fault that we lost. We actually had a few chances that were not on Greg at all. You know, Haji Wright, he had Ricardo Pepi wide open, which would have drawn the game. Guarantee if Pepi got that ball, he was scoring. So this is what if, obviously. You have that happen, and you have that terrible call reversed, smash them together, we win the game, and we move on, right? But, you know, you can't use what ifs anymore because it already happened. So we just need to look forward, and we need to fire Greg. We need to fire Greg. So if anyone is watching this video that cares, there's a website that I don't run it, but I'm gonna be buying a shirt from there, and it's just stuff that says fire Greg, because we can't boycott the games because it would just be a bad look for us. So if they play a game in Gillette, like a friendly or anything like that, I'll be going to that, and I'll be wearing one of those shirts that says fire Greg on it. And I will probably wear that shirt the first time it comes out of the laundry every single time until he is fired.